Good morning, TGO traders and investors. Whiz here with Thursday's market sit rep, and seeing a mixed bag of economic data so far this morning. Weekly unemployment claims came in at 305, but this is the number that really interests me. GDP. GDP came in flat. It was 2.5 last time, 2.5 this time, but we were looking, economists were looking for a little bit of a bump, and we didn't get it. So again, the Fed's, hey, the second half of the year is going to be great, is really turning out to be not true. Later on today, we'll get, or this morning, we'll get pending home sales. And that's about it on our flight schedule that I'm really going to care about today. Tomorrow, going to see a lot of economic data, from some inflation to personal spending, personal income, and some revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment numbers there. However, the Conference Board's numbers are okay. I'll look at them. But Gallup also comes out with a economic confidence index. It's slumped back to its lowest level in 6 months. You could just see the consumer halfway through this year going, and then rolling over and flying down here. And I got to tell you, it's Senator Cruz obviously was tilting at windmills with his mini filibuster on the floor there, but he has really called attention to a lot of things going on with Obamacare, the implementation of Obamacare, and the horror stories that we're starting to hear with people's premiums, as we get closer to a couple deadlines here, that it's an absolute train wreck. Yeah, the president admitted yesterday, you know what, we actually did raise taxes on some things with Obamacare that we weren't supposed to do, but who cares? But we are seeing an absolute explosion of people's bills. We're seeing people losing insurance. Whoever thought this was a good idea, it was absolutely foolish. I mean, whether it was the Civil Rights Act back in the 60s, Social Security, big, massive social programs that have been put through in the history of the United States have done so on bipartisan lines. This Obamacare was rammed through on an absolute partisan vote and partisan line. Remember Nancy Pelosi's famous, well, we have to pass it in order to find out what's in it. Well, ma'am, we're starting to find out what's in it, and it's absolutely horrible. Okay, so not good with Obamacare, and obviously we have a looming potential government shutdown and the debt ceiling fight. And just to remind you of what then Senator and presidential candidate said when Bush was trying to raise the debt ceiling, he called it unpatriotic. Just go ahead and Google that, what Obama said in his 2008 campaign about the debt ceiling. Called the president unpatriotic for raising our debt ceiling. Of course, you're not going to see this clip anywhere, and that's why I am showing it to you. Some news out of Europe as well. Mario Draghi spoke a little while ago. European loans are declining at a record rate. Their money supply and credit remains really, really tight over in Europe. I'm not super concerned about Europe because I know that Mario Draghi has a lot more bullets in his gun than our Fed chief, who's shooting blanks. Mario Draghi can lower interest rates. Countries can directly capitalize banks. The IMF, the Eurozone can then bail out countries. They're a little farther from a cliff than actually we are, in my opinion. But just wanted to give you a heads up that even though we're seeing some green shoots, so to speak, out of Europe, it still remains a little soft over there as well. Futures looking mixed this morning. They're up right now. Might get a little bit of a relief or an exhausted bounce here. We've been down for, a week in a row or whatever it is, the longest drag here in a while here. But again, very happy. We're getting ready to do our primary live trade brief this morning at 0900. Really happy with our Japan position. The EWJ iShares over the $12 point. We're looking at 1206 pre-market. We've had a hell of a run over there in Japan in the past couple months, and just a really good trade with Japan. And we're looking at nearly, I really like what Abe's doing over there. with our one trade on the EWJ. Here we are. The synthetic stock position's up 74. It'll be up about $7,500 this morning, about 360% return on this trade since we laid it on here. So very nice trade on the EWJ and all of our emerging market positions. So I got to run, guys. I'm leaving Salt Lake City this morning. Spoke to John Stone Supply yesterday. Heading back to South Florida today, and then heading out to Argentina Saturday night, Buenos Aires. To speak to DirecTV, and then over to Tokyo to speak to Macquarie Financial. So going to be very interesting heading over to Tokyo and talking to the folks over there about what's going on in Asia. So we're going to get a lot of insight into China, Japan, and a lot of our emerging market positions. So stand by next week for some good intel on what I saw in my little jaunt around the world here. All right, got to run, guys. Have a great day. I'll be back with Friday's market wrap-up over at Wealth Creation Investing. We'll see you.